don't always get the chance to practice with players that are better than us. In fact, the better you get, the tougher it is to find players of the same standard. And similarly, for those players that are practicing with you, if they're better than you, then they probably don't want to be training with you either. So how do we overcome it, and how can we get the most out of our training when we're playing against players that we usually beat, who are quite a lot weaker than us? Well, firstly, let's examine the player that you're training with. Are they losing to you because of the tempo, because you're simply hitting the ball too hard? Against that type of player, you can be training at a slightly lower tempo, so reduce your tempo, but make your targets a lot smaller. So you could be looking for height and depth, so you don't have to hit the ball quite as hard, but you're aiming for specific targets on the court. You're looking to get precision. So if you're rallying down the middle, even at the start, you can start to go for depth. So you're looking for higher balls to go deep. You're looking to get into that top quarter of the court. So instead of usually we play over the service line, you're looking to get even further out there. You can even put a little target to aim into. You're looking for height and you're looking for depth. Now this player here can stand a little bit further back to have enough time in order to deal with your shots. And they can go anywhere, so they can have a much bigger target. Then you can go cross court. So if you're here, you're player A, player B is here, you can go cross court. And now you're aiming for depth. You can put a marker here and you're looking for either deeper than the marker, or you can go for width, where you can go wider than the marker and you're looking for the ball to bounce. So as you're hitting the shot, it's going a little bit slower, it's bouncing, but you want it to break that sideline before it breaks the baseline. You're working on the quality of your shot. Now obviously when you're going for that wide shot, this player can stand a little bit further here, so now they're able to cover those shots and they don't have to move too much. And again, they can have a much bigger target of the court to aim into, and then you can practice your shot and your quality of shot. So both players can work on something. The player B, the weaker player, is working on their consistency, getting the ball back, and you're working on your accuracy and getting the ball to bounce into a difficult position for the other player. Because if the player was here at the time and you've played this shot here and made the ball bounce out wide like that, they would have to cover a lot of court and you'll open up a lot of court the other way. Now you can do the same by going down the line. So you've gone cross court, you can go forehand and backhand side on that cross court rally, and again placing those targets either going deeper than the target or wider than the target, and the same thing can happen down the line. So you could be here, you're player A, player B is here, and now you're hitting the ball down the line and you're looking for either width or you're looking for depth. So you're looking for getting the ball deeper than your target. And you can also, if you hit the target, you can score how many targets you've hit. You can make this target as big or small depending on your level. Again, this player here, the weaker player, has got a bigger court to aim into. They can just get the ball back, so they can keep going for their shots, and they can cover wherever you're hitting because they know what's happening. You can do this on both sides, the forehand and the backhand.
If you want to get extra precise, you can use the tram lines to aim into. Now remember, you're not going for power, but more for control and accuracy. And this is a great way to have a great target to aim into. See how many you can get in a row.
And now you're ready to do some control drills. Now this is the best way to practice movement and control of the ball, as well as change of direction without applying too much pressure on the other player. So you can put the weaker player, player B, here in this one corner, and you can start to go two cross, so they hit the ball twice cross court, you give the ball back, and then they go twice down the line. And you're moving, you're going from your player A, you're going from hitting the ball twice cross court to then moving this way. So you've gone here and now you hit the ball twice down the line. This player here is simply going 2, 2, 2, 2. Then after you've done that, you can go for 2 cross court, 1 down the line. Now this makes this player here, yourself, move a lot more. So now you're going 2 cross court, then 1 down the line. After you've hit your down the line back, you go then recovering to hit your 2 cross court. And now you can go for 1 cross court, 1 down the line. So this is the most movement you're going to do. You're going into this corner all the time, and they're going 1 cross court, 1 down the line, 1 cross court, 1 down the line. And you can time it, so you can do 2 minutes, 2 cross, 2 down the line, 2 minutes, 2 cross, 1 down the line, and then 1 minute, 1 cross court and 1 down the line. And you can also switch sides, so now that player can go into the backhand corner and they can repeat the same process. Now if you want this player to be a little bit more dynamic, you can say that they can only go cross and you're going to be the one switching targets. So that means you're going to start by going 2 cross court, they're going to go back to you, then you're going to go again, 2nd cross court, they're going to go back to you, and now you're going to go for down the line. Now they're only going cross court every time, so when they're moving here, this is player B, they're moving here and now they can hit the ball cross court here again, so they're going 2 cross court and then 2 cross court this way. So that's the only thing they have to focus on, is getting the ball cross court. And if they don't make it cross court on any shot, it doesn't matter because you're the one that's working on this drill. So then from here, they'll go 2 cross court here. You're going to be player A here. You're going to be move across and you're going to play 2 cross court and then switch into the down the line again, making player B here, the weaker player, again move. So they know after every 2 shots that they hit cross court, a down the line is coming, and this is where you can focus on getting a good target here, good depth and good width. They know it's going there, so after they've hit their shot, they don't have to stay here. They're going to move across and they're going to cover that down the line. And from here, they're going to hit the cross court and you're going to be moving again. So 2 cross, 1 down the line, the other player going only cross. And you can switch who does what, so you can be the player going cross and you can give this player the initiative. That way you can still train with a player that is worse than you. They'll have enough time to deal with that ball if they stand far enough behind the baseline. Another player could be because you are faster than them, so you're simply out rallying them side to side and they're not fast enough to get to your shots. But against that kind of player, you can reduce the court size. So you can start playing at a half court, only give them half a court to cover. That way, you can still play your game, you can still go for your shots, but you're only going into 1 corner. Giving them less court to cover, make it easier for them to play you. Give yourself a handicap against that type of player. And often you'll get players that play against 2 players on the other side, and it's exactly the same thinking behind it, where I'm by myself playing against 2 players, each covering half of the court, therefore they don't have to move quite as much and they will give me a good workout. Now when you're playing against 2 players on the other side, so you're player A, you've got player B here and player C here. So now they're covering their side of the court only. So player B has this side of the court, player C has this side of the court. And here they're going to start going either cross court, so they know that only go cross court, and they're making you move and you can go only down a line. So this is a great drill to work on your movement and control, where this player here, the weaker player, only focuses on a cross court ball. They know the ball's going to come down a line every time, and they're looking for their cross-court shot. And then you can move around and then hit the ball down the line again, and you repeat the process. So it's like the figure of 8 drill, but these 2 players are stationary, they're not having to move too much, so it becomes a lot easier for them to find those down the line targets. And if they ever don't make it, you just continue the process and you continue getting that drill. And the same thing you can do with these players hitting the ball down the line. So if they hit down the line, you hit cross court, they hit down the line, you hit cross court. So you're the player that's always moving side to side and they're stationary. Now, if you were to score this, you would quickly realize how important that cross-court ball is. Because if those two players on the other side can go anywhere, so you're the player that doesn't know where the ball's going to go, they can go anywhere, and you're trying to play the point, you're trying to win the rally. Because they're going anywhere, when you're moving for a ball, so say player B hits the ball here, and they make a shot like this, and you're moving for this ball, if you from this position do not hit the ball cross court and you go back down the line, they're already standing there, so they will expose that cross court gap that you've given up. So you'll quickly realize that when you're on the run, the defensive play is going back cross court, because now your recovery is going to be shorter. You're going to have to recover to somewhere here, and then you're going to be covering the majority of the court. Whereas if you go down the line, you're always going to be punished by this player. And this recreates a good player. If you're playing a match, you're always going to feel like a good player's there. So they're always behind the ball, like playing a Djokovic on court. You can never expose those angles because he always gets there. So having two players there will help you recreate that. So you can work on quite a lot against two players on the other side, even if they're not as good as you. You can give yourself a smaller target by going over the service line. So you're aiming only for the deep balls. If you hit the ball short, you lose the point. And similarly, you could also aim in that half of the court. You can also stop yourself from having one of the shots. So you can say, I'm not allowed to hit any backhands. If a player finds my backhand, they win the point. This gives me a much bigger court area to cover because I'm going to be protecting one of my sides, but I'm still working on my forehand, on my weapon to improve. You can also handicap yourself with scoring. So start the game at love 15, love 30, even start break point down 30-40, 15-40 when you're serving. And similarly on their serve, you can give them the head start. So make them go 30 love up and then play the game from there. This should give them the freedom to go for their shots because they know they have a few points before you catch up to them. And hopefully that will make them play better and put a little bit more pressure on your shots. Another great handicap I like to throw out for my players is that they're only allowed to use their weaker shot, i.e. could be their backhand, only once in the rally. This makes them look for their forehand, protect their weakness, their backhand usually, and also it gives the other player the chance to win the point if they make them play that weaker shot twice in a single rally. So try it out yourself. You've got so many options that you can play around with to make it more difficult for yourself when you're playing against a player that's weaker than you, but also give the other player more time, i.e. play at a lower tempo, and also make maybe the dimensions of the court smaller, making it easier for them to play points against you. Try it out yourself and let me know how it goes. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a comment under the video and let me know what you think about these tips and of course what you struggle with the most in your game. All the best and see you soon.